Hey, here's a weird topic for you, camouflage. I know, it's that topic you always think of when you ride a motorbike, you know. But I was reading some information about camouflage and, you know, how it came about and all that lot and various theories and all this rubbish. Well, not rubbish, but, you know, existence of. That car has not got its lights on. Weird, there's a couple without their lights on. Alright. Let's just check my filter. And, but one of the camouflages that I kind of knew existed, but at the same time I was very much, oh, okay. And that was pink camouflage, believe it or not. Now, who used pink as a camouflage? It's quite interesting when you read up on it. Now, the first instance of sort of pink camouflage being used, but I'm not 100% if this is true, was on some. If you look at the sky now, I don't know if it shows up too much, but it's quite pink. And during World War II, they used to strip out some Spitfires, mosquitoes, etc. And so they were much faster. Shove a camera underneath them, and they were going to do reconnaissance. I.e., they'd strip the armour out, they'd even strip the machine guns. They'd be completely unarmed, you know, and just have fuel, enough for the trip there and back. And then they would fly as fast as they could, using speed as their main defence. And then after that, it was a case of just hope you don't get spotted. And to help with that, I'm not filtering, by the way, because I'm talking, and that's, you know, a big no-no. and to help with that, they painted the planes pink. And the idea was, if it was early pre-dawn like it is now, or after dawn, and they would be camouflaged in the sky. Hopefully, well, that was the kind of theory. Whether it actually worked out or not is another thing. So they used pink camouflage. But when I look up now, obviously it's a very mild pink. But when I look up now at the sky, it's like, you know, there's planes up there now, and even if they were coloured, you know, pink, you'd still see them. So I'm not too sure if the pink was for ground observers. You've got to remember that radar guns and that were in an early stage at this point, no air-to-air missiles or anything. I'm pretty sure the ground observers would have still spotted them, you know. And it's like the underneath of Spitfires as well, were painted blue, so daylight ones, so when you looked up they looked like the clouds. But other people have said the pink wasn't necessarily to hide them in pure light, as in so you could see them. It was more to hide them in the cloud layer. So after they'd done their photo reconnaissance, they'd drop below the clouds, do their photo reconnaissance, and then fly back into the cloud and do their escape from there, shall we say. So that was the idea. It wasn't so much that if you look at the plane up there now, you know, it's easy to spot even if that was painted pink. The idea was they'd hide in the clouds and the pink would blend in with the background, give them a little bit more cover, shall we say, or camouflage. Now another unit that used the pink camouflage was the SAS. Yes, or the Long Range Desert Patrol. I don't know if it's the Long Range Desert Patrol or the SAS. I'm pretty sure it's the SAS. Now, if you don't know what I mean by that is, the Long Range Desert Patrol, as my dad would tell me for various reasons, were a group of people who would patrol behind the enemy lines in, I think they were in American trucks at the point. Great big American Chevrolets. I'm not 100% sure about that. And they would travel deep behind enemy lines on reconnaissance missions. They weren't necessarily a fighting force as such, but they would do deep penetration behind enemy lines. And then we all know Sterling came along and wanted to do his special forces, and it was a special air service, SAS is special, isn't it? Special, secret, special, I can't remember. Anyway, SAS. That's terrible, I can't remember that. So, it'll be like, oh, we're going to parachute in and blow things up. Don't know why you pulled over to block me, that was a bit weird. But after a few failed attempts, they discovered that parachuting in to do these missions probably wasn't the best idea. Early SAS missions were not very successful, shall we say. And then they joined up with the Long Range Desert Patrol, or group, whichever they wanted to call themselves. And then they started doing penetrations via land, you know, just literally just driving through enemy lines and doing their thing and then driving back, you know. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but you get the idea. Now, they actually painted their Jeeps, not in the Second World War, but this was more in, I believe, the 60s. I have to look that up. They painted their Jeeps pink, and they called them the Pink Panthers. You know, if anybody remembers that cartoon around that time, the Pink Panther was a panther that was pink, obviously, but he had this car, really weird looking car, that was pink. So obviously they nicknamed their Jeeps the Pink Panthers. But they're the only two instances I've found of pink camouflage in active use, shall we say. But they used pink because they were in the desert, and they hoped it blended in more again because most of their missions were in twilight time, shall we say.